Welcome to Bob Cargill's Marketing Show, a ridiculously awesome podcast bursting with insightful commentaries and intriguing conversations on the topics and issues that are on the minds of marketers, advertisers, social media, and PR professionals today.
Hey everybody, this is Bob Cargill from Bob Cargill's Marketing Show, and you have heard me speak from my home office. You have heard me speak from a coffee shop, from out-of-office co-working, a ridiculously awesome co-working space in Hudson, Massachusetts. But today, I have crossed town lines over to Westboro. So I'm in Westboro, Massachusetts. I traveled here from my home office in Sudbury, and I am at the world headquarters of Vision Advertising. And across the table from me is Julia Becker Collins. She's the Chief Operating Officer of Vision Advertising, and we're going to talk about marketing, her agency, her career, and who knows what else might come up in this conversation. Folks, let me introduce you to Julia Becker Collins. Julia, say hello and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, as Bob said, I'm Julia Becker Collins. I am the Chief Operating Officer here at Vision Advertising, and we are in our wonderful offices here in Westboro. Vision Advertising has been around for 20 years. For 19 years, we were actually in Worcester, and we really loved it there. It was wonderful, and Worcester was a wonderful home for us. But we actually outgrew that space, and so at the end of last year, we moved to Westboro. We're really excited about this new space. It's about double the space for us. It allowed us to grow our staff, have a more centrally located office to accommodate our clients that are in the eastern portion of the state, and also in the western portion, the central portion of the state, and also all over New England. And I have been with the agency for 3 years. At the end of last year, I was promoted to COO, as Bob said. And previously I was the vice president. And this new role is just that same role, but bigger, really. So the buck really stops with me now.
That must be an awesome feeling, Julia. You know, I've been in business many years and never had the opportunity to necessarily sit in the COO's chair. And it must feel like an awesome responsibility, but it also must feel like kind of cool. I mean, you have a lot of authority, I imagine. You call the shots. How do you balance, I guess, that responsibility with the authority? And is it as, quote, cool as I think it is?
I mean, it does sound like a really cool job, and there's a lot of great things about it. It's a balancing act. Like you said, there's nobody to hold you accountable except yourself. So you have to be the right kind of person to be really, really good at holding yourself accountable and holding everybody that reports to you accountable and holding the clients accountable and holding the people that report to your staff accountable. You have to be good at both the small details and the big details and knowing when to step back and let other people deal with things. There's a difference between a CEO and a COO. I'm not the big visionary an entrepreneur or a CEO is. I'm good at big picture thinking, small picture thinking, teeny tiny minutia, finances, operations, execution, etc. But it's great to just see it all in action as well.
That's huge. I mean, it's where the rubber meets the road in terms of, operations. I mean, that's, like you say, it's the buck stops here with you. I have to ask, your COO, I think there is a CEO,
yes,
and I think I know who she is. Is there a story there? Because you said you've been around, this agency has for 20 years. You've only been here 3. Tell me about your counterpart or the founder of the company.
Absolutely. So Vision Advertising was founded by Laura DiBenedetto 20 years ago. It was actually founded in her college dorm room at Becker College. No, there is no relationship between Becker College and myself. It's just a fun coincidence.
But that's an amazing right there, what you just said, in college dorm. So she founded the company when she was in college.
She was 19.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I know. And so she founded it. For a long time, she was on her own. Then the company grew and she needed to hire staff, as successful companies do. She hired staff, and then she delegated, and the company grew and grew, and then we grew into an office that wasn't in her house, and then we grew into a different office, et cetera, kind of the typical company story, right? And then, she kind of hit a point where about 17, 16 years ago, where she was like, okay, well, I have been doing this for a very long time. I kind of don't want to do this anymore, right? So I had known Laura from before I started working here. Actually, I know her through Charlotte Holberry, who is another amazing person who you should actually chat with. She introduced us, and Laura and I became friendly and, professional colleagues. And Laura was looking to bring somebody on to run the operations department, but also to eventually be her successor. Because, anybody that's been doing something for a very long time is kind of done with doing that.
That's an awful long time, and kudos to her, kudos to you, because this is her baby, and she's handed the baby almost totally over to you. Yep. Mm-hmm. So again, I can imagine the responsibility you must feel. Mm-hmm. But I see you fairly regularly, and it doesn't show. And that, you seem to handle it quite effortlessly. And I know you got a lot on your plate. So
I do.
Yeah.
I do. When I came on board, I came on a partnership track. And I really have a firm belief that this company is doing the best job possible. I really have enjoyed getting it to a really wonderful place. This team is fantastic, and I say that I don't really have a boss, but I come to work every day for them. So
your team, in a way, you have to prove it, if you will, prove yourself to them every day, your clients every day. I'm in business. I mean, at least that's how I think. But of course, it goes both ways. They back to you, have to prove themselves. It's a partnership. Tell me about the kind of work Vision does. I mean, I can see a sign across the room that does spell it out for me, but I see social media and websites and marketing strategy. Mm-hmm. Where is your sweet spot? Where is Vision's, the bulk of Vision's work? And yeah.
So we do about half of our work with our clients are with B2C clients, restaurants, hospitality. We call them our fun and fun-loving clients. Christian, who you met earlier, he works with a lot of them. That's clients who own Mexican restaurants and obstacle course racing places and all kinds of different fun things that are very visually appealing, right? So there's a lot of Instagram, and there's a lot of Facebook and photography and video, and all professionally managed.
Yes.
So it's not just, okay, we're going to come take some photos and post some things for you. It's complete custom account management of social media, along with reputation management, Google reviews, Yelp reviews, Facebook reviews, et cetera, because there's a lot happening behind the scenes that people don't think of.
Yes.
Ad account management, how much should you be spending here versus here, on what kind of campaign, event marketing, opening a new restaurant, grand openings, customer appreciations, etc. So that's about half the business we do. We're also building websites, SEO, etc. for those clients. Really holistic marketing, and it's all based on what those clients need.
Is it pretty much all online?
Yes, for those clients primarily. Sometimes it's some print, right? So we have some clients that like to do some print ads in, say, the Hanover Theater playbooks, because they're supporting a local theater production, things like that. But primarily digital.
And how do you get your business? I mean, I've worked for a lot of different agencies, and I know the different ways, meaning you could be advertising, you could be going to events, it could be through friends. Is there a certain best practice? So let's say other agency owners are listening, not to give away any secrets, but what do you think is the best way to get new business?
It really depends. So I had said that's about half of our business. The other half is really B2B. phone's ringing.
Oh.
It's always a good sign.
Yes, always there you go. Boom.
The other half of our business is really B2B, right? Professional services. So whether it's landscape architects, accounting firms, law firms, etc., they all need marketing as well, but that's very different, right? It's very different to market a Mexican restaurant than it is to market a law firm. And we do both of those things because the people that work here really specialize in the work that they do. We don't have marketing generalists. We have people that specialize in specific kind of work. So bringing in new business, it depends on who I'm trying to attract, right? So I have brought in new business through speaking opportunities. I had a really great experience at Clark University giving a workshop with Phil, who you know really well.
Who's Phil? I've never heard of Phil. Hi, Phil, if you're listening. I hope you are.
I miss Phil.
So Phil Hollis is my counterpart on the Sudbury Social Tweet Up. We started that thing 8 years ago or so, and Phil's awesome. Phil Hollis of Feed Blitz used to live around here up until just a month or so ago.
Yep.
But I have to interject, excuse me, but when you mentioned Phil, that's how you and I, Julia, met. You came out to the Sudbury Social Tweet Up. Yep. It's a networking group. We've been meeting once a month for about 8 years. So that might be one way.
Yep.
Networking, you get out to events.
Well, so that's sort of my point. You know, it's all different ways. But for me, as a professional, the way that I have found to be most successful bringing a new business is having that personal FaceTime with the executive. Because, you know, to be really blunt, I am not for everyone, right? I am a very specific kind of executive, and I'm a very specific kind of marketer. I have a very forward personality. I am not buttoned up in a suit. We're also not the marketing agency for everyone. You know, your listeners can't see the agency, but we have purple walls and.
Well, I love it. So you'd be for me if I was a potential client.
So we have colorful walls here, and my staff dresses very casually, and you know, I have tattoos and you know, bright red hair. We are unapologetically ourselves here, and we believe that we do the best work for our clients. And that either works for you in that we are really good at what we do and we're ourselves doing it, or it doesn't. And that's okay because we're not for everybody. So when I have really great in-person conversations, it's because people want to sign on with us or have additional conversations with us because I'm a great representative of this company or somebody else here is a great representative of this company. This is not the Julia show. So it should be, everybody here should be marketing the brand because everybody here is a good representative of the brand.
I can see why you're in the COO chair, Julia, and when you say unapologetically yourselves, I love that because that's what I preach to my clients as a social media marketer. I'm always saying your followers, your fans, your friends, they want to get to know you for who you are. I applaud that.
Thank
so
you.
I know when you're a strong person and direct person, sometimes your words, that's not going to be for everybody. But I think in a leadership role, that's what people are looking for.
Yes.
More of that, you know, confidence and you know, just cut to the chase. Tell it like it is. I imagine that works well for you. And again, I can see why you're in the COO's chair. I
It's okay.
keep thinking COO's chair.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's helpful with clients. It's helpful in running the business. It's helpful, you know, recruiting staff. It's helpful managing staff. It's helpful in a lot of different ways.
I would have I can see why Laura handed it over to you because you know confidence is written all over
Thank you.
That should be one of your tattoos.
Well, I think you have to be, you're either covering something up or you're pretty confident to walk around with bright red hair and lots of tattoos. So
look at you. Yes, I love it. So running the business, you also run, period.
Yes,
you
I
do
do.
a lot on the side. So I met you with the Sudbury Social Tweet Up, but I also have gotten to know you a little bit over the years. And thanks to social media, which I practice daily, personally and professionally. I follow you and see all your events and activities. Tell us about your physical fitness life, which is huge, and Spartan racing and all of that.
Excuse me. So I got into Spartan racing, which is obstacle racing. I got into it a couple of years ago because I did the Fenway Spartan race, which is, I like to say, the gateway drug of Spartan races because it's a very low bar of Spartan races considering how many other choices they are. But it's hard, right? It's hard for anybody. It's a challenging race. I don't want to diminish it.
Of course.
I did it 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, something like that, and I loved it. I loved it because it's hard. And that's a special kind of personality that wants to do something that's hard, does the hard thing, gets completely beat up by it, and says, okay, great, what's harder and what can I do? What else can I do? And I thought it was the best thing ever.
Listen to these quotes, folks. If I was covering this live on Twitter, I just love that. What can I do that's harder than what I just did? That's Julia Becker Collins. That's why you're COO.
Right.
That's why you're a leader.
Right.
Because you want challenge. You want something that's difficult.
I do. My husband says that I'm the most determined person he's ever met. He describes me as, you go, you find the thing that you want, and there's literally nothing that will stop you from getting it.
Jesus.
Yeah. Right. So that's very much me. I'm like a pit bull, and there is nothing that will stop me. He's like, I don't know how you do it, but somehow you do it. I went from nonprofit marketing to corporate marketing, and that is a very hard transition to make. Mm-hmm. I was like, well, that's what I'm going to do. I don't see what the problem is, and then I did it. So, to me, you are the only thing standing in your own way from the goal that you want.
The sky's the limit.
Exactly.
Julia.
And
yeah.
I am not, I'm saying that as somebody that has a full understanding that other people have more challenges than I do, and not everybody has the privilege that I have. But you're your own biggest obstacle. So and that's whether in career or in your own personal life. So
Spartan,
yes.
Back to, so you've done a lot of that. They're great marketers, I think.
They are, and they're local. They're based in Boston.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they are. They're based in Boston. Joe D, who is the founder, he is up in Vermont, but the company is based in Boston. I think they're downtown Boston.
So you know what they do really well, I think. Having never done one, I am a runner, you know that.
Yeah.
I'm afraid I'd get hurt doing a Spartan.
It's very different.
Then I wouldn't be able to do my marathons.
Right. Well, my husband is he's about to do the Chicago Marathon.
Good for him.
And he did Spartan Trifecta with me last year, and after doing that, he doesn't want to do it again until after Chicago.
You have to be careful as a runner because doing a Spartan, there's a good chance of getting hurt in those
Well, because there's a lot more lateral movement in a
Yes.
Spartan race than in a road race.
But what I think from a distance, no pun intended, that I see them do, distance running.
Yeah.
The crowdsourcing, meaning they, first of all, they take great photos of you guys, the participants, and I see the participants sharing those photos all the time.
Yep.
So that is free marketing for Spartan, and I think that's brilliant marketing.
And they've really taken advantage of the Facebook group feature.
Which I might not even see. Maybe that's private, or I don't know.
Groups, a lot of closed groups.
Yeah.
They're doing a great job of that to create community. So they're doing a great job.
Yeah,
of that
kudos
as well.
to them in that department.
Oh yeah, but let me go back and answer your question
please.
about. So last year, I had set myself a goal to do a Spartan Trifecta, which is for people that don't know, it's 3 races in 1 calendar year. It's a sprint, which is about a 5K, 3 to 5 miles, with obstacles and whatever terrain. It's all trails. A super, which is about 6 to 8 miles, but again, all kinds of terrain and obstacles and whatever. And a beast, which is basically a half marathon on a mountain, obstacles, terrain, blah 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 blah. And you do all 3 within 1 calendar year, which requires training, etc.
You think?
Yeah. So so that was my goal, and I had never really run any of those before. I had done like Fenway, whatever. So, excuse me. So I set this goal for myself, and then I got about 2 races in, 1 race in, and I was like, I'll do a double trifecta because I'm me, and sometimes I do crazy things, and I decided instead of 3 races in one calendar year, I'll do 6 races in one calendar year. And what did that turn into? Oh, that turned into 8 races in one calendar year. And then I also added a Tough Mudder and Lord knows what else. So that was last year. At the end of last year, I closed out doing the Fenway race, and I got hurt at the Fenway race. Fine, but
the easiest of them all, maybe.
Yes, of course, because I wasn't really paying attention and whatever, and so that kind of sidelined me for a few weeks. But
only a few weeks. I mean, you were right back at it after that few weeks.
But earlier in the year, I had made this decision because of a million different reasons that this year, 2019, I was going to do an ultra, which is, so an ultra, again, for people who don't know, in the running world and in the obstacle world, an ultra is anything that's further than a marathon, right? So a lot of them tend to be trail races, which you know, and they have all kinds of cutoffs and whatever, and there are ultra obstacle races, and an ultra obstacle race in the Spartan world is a 50K, which is 30 miles, but sometimes it's longer than that because there's penalty laps, etc., plus 60 plus obstacles, plus all kinds of terrain, because I decided to do a mountain one. So in April, end of April, April 26th, I did the New Jersey Ultra Spartan, which ended up being, I think, with all the penalty laps and whatever, 35 miles, 60 plus obstacles, more than 10,000 feet of elevation.
This is like...
Right, this makes me sound like a crazy person, but it is.
Crazy in a good way, Julia.
Right. So, it took me 14 hours, 16 minutes, and 45 seconds. I finished in the pitch black with a headlamp on by myself, coming out of the woods. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Yes.
Extremely impressive.
So, and that's like no sitting down.
I mean,
Just go.
I've been a runner my whole life, pretty much since high school. I've done marathons, but nothing close to what you're talking about. So, I mean, that's like really big time athletics.
So they say that after you do one ultra, then you're gonna like get the ultra bug, and I was like, no, that's not gonna happen to me. And I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna be done, and I have all these other races planned for the year, and it's gonna be fine. And no, of course, I'm doing another ultra this year. I've already signed up for it. It's October 26th.
That's soon.
Yeah, I'm aware, believe me.
Maybe I'll run with you once.
That'd be great.
That's the easy part, of course.
Yeah, the running is easier.
I am extremely impressed, and I can relate, but not to the degree that, 14 hours and 10,000 feet and 60 obstacles. I mean, I have run 26.2 miles a bunch of times, but nothing like what you're doing with the obstacles and all of that. I applaud you.
Thank you.
And again, the stories you have, you're perfectly suited. I mean, I'm guessing this is just the beginning of where you're heading in your career. And because you're the whole package. I mean,
thank you.
Your business, your personality, your athlete. What isn't there about, if I may ask, what's your Achilles heel, or what haven't you done that you want to do besides something hard or a generic answer? But are there goals specifically that might be in your future, or things that you can't yet do but you hope you can do?
Sure. I mean, there's always different races I want to do, right? I'm sure you have that, where you're like, I want to do this race and I haven't hit it yet. There's harder ultras with harder time cutoffs that I want to do. I like ultra training because it gives me good focus, right? Because when you run a company, a lot of the time you feel like you're on a hamster wheel, and even though you're busy all day, you're not getting anything done, or you're quote unquote not getting anything done, even though you're getting a lot done, right? There's nothing for you to kind of check a box on and sit there and be like, I got this thing done today, right? Like, even though you did a lot. But I feel like when you're on an ultra training plan where it's like, on Monday I go and do strength training, and on Tuesday I run 3 miles at whatever pace I want, and then I go and lift kettlebells. And on Wednesday, right? It's very like check a box.
Yep.
Check a box.
Yep.
Check a box. Do the best you can. You put the miles in the bank, right? And it doesn't matter if they were fast miles or slow miles or good miles or bad miles. It's just, you just keep chipping away at it, and it gives me, and it's a long cycle, right? You know, marathon training is a very long cycle.
long term, not
Right. And so it gives me 18 weeks of like some kind of structure that I have to do a lot for myself. Right, because it's not just the running and the strength training.
I know, yeah,
it's also like acupuncture, massage therapy,
nutrition,
Epsom salt baths, nutrition, hydration, you know, supplements, the eating, the whole thing. I have to spend a lot of time thinking about that, which makes me a better leader.
That's what I wanted to get to, meaning obviously it makes you a stronger person overall, emotionally and physically.
Right.
How does it relate to work specifically in the future? I mean, where could this take you? And I'm talking business as much as...
I understand.
Yeah,
I don't know where it could take me in the future with business. I think it could only make me a better leader because I am very balanced, right?
Do you have goals to write a book, speak in front of 5,000 people,
I like public
take this
speaking.
agency public?
I don't think I want to take the agency public. I really want to grow the agency. We've already been growing it, which is great. I have a real belief in a quality client over quantity of clients. I like great clients. I like clients that appreciate the work that we do. I like clients that are really easy to talk to. I was texting with a client earlier today, and it was just the easiest conversation.
Yeah, just like they're friends.
It's they don't even have to be a friend. It's just an easy conversation. You know. I really love the people that work for me, and I would love some more people. Just to be able to strategically grow the company.
Yep.
I enjoy public speaking. I enjoy workshops, big, small, medium, whatever.
Yeah, I can see you being a very much in demand speaker in the future, if not already.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done public speaking to groups of 5,000 to down to 10, right? And it's very different, but you get something out of it, and everybody gets something out of it, and I enjoy that. I enjoy giving workshops, etc. I just had somebody ask me if I was interested in doing a website with a blog, etc., about fitness and kind of all of that, because you've seen my Instagram, and I talk a lot about...
You're a personal brand. You're a brand.
Right. So I have a lot of people that follow me on Instagram, and it's my personal Instagram about my fitness journey, and I'm very raw there because it's hard. This is not easy, and I don't understand this whole fitness thing on Instagram about do 5 deadlifts and it's so easy and you'll feel better at the end and whatever.
Well, I think some of them it's possible be that's the way they want to show it to their audience, and
totally.
You're more authentic, you're unapologetically yourself.
Exactly.
Whereas they might be putting on a little bit of...
And it's just not, that way of doing it it's built to make people feel bad. And that's not helping anybody.
Right.
I started my own Instagram. You're going to share your photo of your wine and your cats and whatever. But then I started writing about my fitness journey because it was holding me accountable. And I found a lot of really great people on there that were on a similar journey. And now I have a lot of people reaching out to me saying that what I'm writing is helping them.
Yep.
And that's really the most I can ask for.
You just said 2 really big things about social media. What a lot of people who don't do it don't understand. Doing it, if you're in fitness, and pretty much if you're in anything, if you're driven, goals driven, ambitious, it holds you accountable.
It does,
because you can't really fake it, and those who do eventually are called out, or it's not benefiting them as much as it is those who are extremely authentic. And also you inspire others, and you over time, people start looking up to you. They follow you.
Right.
They follow in your footsteps, or at least try to. Who do you get inspired by, though, Julia? Because you're doing so much yourself, and so much is strictly on you. But you have to get something from somebody or something somewhere.
Absolutely. Well, my husband inspires me, which I know is the cheesiest thing in the whole entire world to say, but.
Not at all.
He broke his ankle 3 weeks before the Napa Valley Marathon 2 years ago, and he wasn't able to run, and now he's coming back stronger than ever, and now he's a faster runner than he was before, and he's going to run Chicago, and he's so excited.
Devin, yeah, I met Devin, and I think that's awesome that you say he is your inspiration, because to me, marriage, being a couple, whomever, your significant other is the most significant, should be the most significant.
Well, and
that is so awesome. And I've met Devin, and he's
wonderful.
He seems like a ridiculously awesome guy.
Yes, he's great. So, I also have a really strong network in general. I mean, Michelle, who was on your show,
yes,
is a great friend.
Yep.
She inspires me. She's just, she gets it. She really understands, what it's like to be at the top.
Yes.
And to really, deal with everything I deal with. But also, I have a really amazing network of friends in general. But then, on the fitness side,
any big names, celebrities like that, or is it just?
I don't really do the big name celebrity thing. I mean, I follow people, but not for like inspiration. I more follow them for like the laughs. Like I follow Kristen Bell because she's funny.
Oh yeah, I do know her. Yeah,
right.
I was
going to
say
because it's like they're lifting weights in their garage.
She's the actress, right?
Right. She's on The Good Place,
and her husband does a podcast. I listen to.
Yeah.
Because I listen to him, and my wife said, "Oh, that's Kristen Bell's husband. I don't know her."
Yeah,
so what a power couple
funny.
they are.
She's very funny.
Yeah.
But no, I follow. So in my world, I have a friend, Beth Froberg. She's amazing, and she inspires me very frequently. She had a significant weight loss, and now she does these endurance events that are 12-hour, 24-hour, 60-hour endurance events that are just incredible. And she talks to me about my ultra training like it's the only thing she has on her plate, and she is happy to help me through the whole thing. And she's so happy to do it, which is like amazing to me. So
keys to success, if I was summarizing, not that we're at that point in the conversation yet, but this part about success. I mean, I see determination and drive. I see physical and emotional, taking care of yourself as a person, having a great network of friends, having a great significant other,
or just some kind of partnership. Right?
Yeah.
I think it's great to have a significant other. I think not everybody is privileged to have a significant other, but just having somebody in your corner is really great. I think it's also really important to not have an ego, right? Like I have a strong ego in that I really know who I am, but I don't let things attack me and be like, well, now I have to defend my ego, right? I'm wrong all the time, and that's okay, right?
You should have your own podcast.
Your
own brand. I mean, I see that in your future. I see you as becoming more public in terms of your personal brand, if that's what you want.
Right, and you'd
be a natural.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
No, not even a question. You know this is what I do for clients, and the more I learn about you, I say, wow, you are a local celebrity who could become national.
Yeah, I think the local celebrity thing is you have to be okay with, right? Like, I get stopped a lot, and it's kind of like, oh, okay, my life is kind of not my own anymore. And then you kind of have to be okay with that.
Well, and see, you do know what you want and what you don't. And not everyone has that clarity.
That's very true.
Yeah.
That is very true, which is, that can be difficult for people.
So, back to marketing. What do you personally like about marketing, and how do you use it, if you don't mind getting away from vision, but what do you do you talked a little bit about Instagram.
Yep.
What do you like yourself about social media marketing today, and where do you think it might go in the future? How has it changed?
Sure. So I used to love Twitter, and I still have an account, but it just is too snarky these days. It makes me crazy. I go on there if I need the news, but otherwise it's too many people fighting, and I don't have time for drama in my life. It's just not, I don't have the bandwidth.
Another great quote. I don't have time for drama in my life.
Facebook is kind of a necessary evil. I'm shrugging my shoulders. It kind of is what it is.
Well, 80-90% of the population approximately is on it. So,
Correct.
as you said, necessary.
It's a necessary evil. I think it's a really good way to interact with some brands. If they're a local brand, that's good. It's great for events, to find events.
Yes,
As a person, it's great for that.
We have to thank Facebook for the whole social media thing.
Yeah, it's fine.
Getting people used to sharing.
I like Facebook Messenger a lot because that's
private,
super helpful.
That's how we talk.
Right. It's easy. It's it's private. You don't have to have somebody's phone number. I like that. Facebook groups are really great.
Yes, Facebook groups.
I've been involved in a lot of Facebook groups that I find very helpful. Right. So I'm in a running group for women that I find really, really helpful and inspiring, that supports women at all different places and paces, right? So that's great, because a lot of women have a lot of shame around how fast they go, or what they look like, or what stage they're at and running, and et cetera, et cetera. It's great group. There's a lot of Facebook groups for women that do strength training, and I like those. Otherwise, Facebook kind of makes me a little bit crazy, because it's just too much.
I know,
right?
it's a lot of bragging and gloating
but
and
also nastiness
and pretension what I like to say is, I feel it's an extension of who we are, and you're going to have those who brag, you're going to have those who criticize, you're going to have those who are just nice people.
Totally.
Some people post once every 6 months, some people post 3 times a day.
Yeah. They're probably bad communicators in their regular life. So, but then I like Instagram because it's drama free most of the time.
Well, it's mostly visual.
Correct. And then if you just want to look at pictures of cats playing pianos, you can. Then you can kind of find your own community on there by, following hashtags and whatever, which is nice.
What about video? Have you done much with video?
Have I done much with video personally?
Yeah. Personally or professionally?
In all seriousness, the only video I have done is some video with kettlebells, because you can see your form better, and then some video to see if the way that you're running is correct. But that's it, right? So I'm just not. When you're out there on the trail by yourself, you're not really taking video of yourself.
But professionally, do you see Vision doing video? Have you seen?
I mean, video is doing so much better than static anything these days.
Yes.
It's crazy. So, if you're doing email marketing, which I really do think is making a comeback for good or for bad, especially for retention marketing, video is having, I think it's an 80% higher click-through rate than just a photo.
And on LinkedIn, for a good B2B audience, video really resonates, and the algorithm favors video. That's what I've seen. And
well, the other big thing that we've seen here is that anything that has people in it. So, stock imagery just does not do the job. You really want...
Very good point. Yep.
Right. So you've talked about this. I know this in your videos, but we've talked about it here. Authenticity really is king.
Yep.
So, staged photos just are not as good as kind of an ugly, air quotes, ugly photo.
The real people, for better or worse, the real deal.
The real photo, the real people, maybe it's cropped incorrectly, whatever it is, people just don't want to see things be pretty anymore.
Yeah.
So, even on LinkedIn, because people assume people lie. So, it's how it is.
Julia, awesome talking to you. I have one last question.
Yeah,
it's kind of a silly one, and I just heard it recently, to be honest with you, at a panel discussion. I'm going to throw it at you. So, ironically, you have... So the question's about superhero powers, and I say ironically, I mean, I believe you have literally some superhero powers. But funny. There's got to be some superhero power you don't have that you wish you did. Well, what would that be? It's a tough question.
I'd love the ability to travel through time. Not to do anything, but just to see things, right? So go see what happened, visit people that have passed away, I don't necessarily want to go into the future, because that's not really my jam, but I really would enjoy, my grandmother passed away about 10 years ago, and I'd love to go see her, go see what it was like during the 60s, and, is it as crazy as everybody said, kind of all the different things, and really see what happened, just to see.
I love that answer. I agree. Time travel would be really cool, and going into the future would probably it'd be scary. I'm curious, but I don't know if I would want to know.
It's not.
It would spoil everything.
But also, I don't think it would be what it's going to be, because the whole butterfly flaps that swings theory. So like, butterfly flaps that swings in the Amazon, and then there's an earthquake somewhere else. It's like the ripple effect of things.
Yeah,
so like
yeah.
one person makes a decision, and then something else happens because of it. So I personally believe you have no idea what's going to happen, and there's no way that you could know what's going to happen in the future because there's too many variables.
Agreed.
Right?
Agreed.
So,
how can people reach Julia Becker Collins,
Absolutely.
COO at Vision Advertising? Where can they find you?
Totally. So I personally am on Instagram at Julia Rivka. That's JuliaRivka. You can find Vision Advertising on Instagram at Vision Advertising Rocks. You can find,
and they do. Vision Advertising
we do.
rocks,
We do.
and Julia as the COO.
Yep.
COO rocks.
You can also find us online. We're vision-advertising.com. That has all of our socials on there. My email is julia@vision-advertising.com, and that's it.
So reach out to Julia. She is a wealth of information.
Thanks.
A great conversationalist, a great athlete, a great COO.
Thanks.
And I'm privileged to be here today in Westboro at Vision Advertising. Great talk, a ridiculously awesome talk with Julia Becker Collins, Chief Operating Officer of Vision Advertising. Thanks everybody for listening. I will talk to you again soon.